the debut of season 2, episode 1 of House Dragon is down just about 20%. I think it was about 7.8 or 8.3 million compared to like 9.9 million for the initial episode of season 1. And some people are looking at this and saying, okay, well, that's fine. It'll grow over time, because some of the episodes that followed episode 1 in season 1 actually did not take off until the end of the season. And then they each averaged about 22 million, which is crazy. But the viewership was not as high as it was. And I think part of that's what me and you have talked about, is like how there wasn't as much riding on this episode, right? People are wanting to see, is there any juice left in this thing? I think, and I believe you're of the belief that more people are probably going to wait on it to be finished so they can binge it all at once, especially now that we know that season 1 was good, solid season. So people are probably not as like worried, right, about jumping on there. I don't think that this is a big of a deal as I've seen some outlets make it. A couple of the outlets, honestly, I don't care for, because their bias is very clear. If you go back in the history of their, they have little tags like House of the Dragon. You go back and look at every single week. They're like, viewership down, show's dead. So there's clearly people who want to have those clickbaity headlines. Now the viewership is down, but it's not anything significant. It's still one of the biggest shows on television, if not the biggest right now. I think it is the biggest right now, even over The Boys, but it is also the biggest show that HBO Max, the platform HBO Max, has had.
Right. Which is the thing. Yeah. So look at the numbers here. So House of the Dragon, this is from a Variety article. House of the Dragon season 2 premiere hit 7.8 million viewers, down 22% from series launch, but bringing Max its biggest streaming day ever. So there's a couple things I would say that probably factored into the softer intro, the softer opening for this one. House of the Dragon season 1 aired in August. Big kind of difference. Some people are settling back into like that school life, or
it was also Father's Day
routine. Yeah, this is also a holiday, so this is a little bit earlier in the summer, right? So a lot of people are like, get on that summer break, summer vacation, so that probably should factor into it. 2, it sounds like Max actually had a bigger day and less people watched on HBO, right? Which standard old television HBO. That could be some people switching away from cable or dish to stream, like going full into streaming services. And a lot of people only carry 1 to 2 streaming services at a time, right? I mean, a lot of
prices have increased tenfold.
Yeah. I mean, right now, my wife and I, we're saying like, all right, well, right now we're rewatching The Office, because they have, these like supercut extended edition episodes or whatever of The Office. And we're watching that. And we're like, all right, well, after that, we're probably gonna have to drop Peacock, because nobody, there's no other shows on it that we really want to watch right now. So you're kind of like, I'm like, Max is the one I'm keeping all the time, because I watch like a lot of DC. Like I watch a lot of the stuff that's on there, like DC and whatever. So that's like sort of my like staple one. And then, you kind of rotate through the other ones of like when a show is good, when, you typically people aren't carrying them all the time. So I do think once this show also is over, a lot of people are going to do that binge where they go back and binge the whole,
get it for a month, binge the show, cancel the show.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, I had a friend over yesterday who, a lot of like, my wife's friends and stuff, whenever they always ask me, they're like, oh, like, how's the podcasting going? They don't really like know a lot about like how it works and everything. And so they're like, I mean, literally, she said, she was like, she's like, I think I'll wait. And then once it's out, I'll just watch the whole thing. Like a lot of people do that. So that's sort of the thing. Like streaming numbers are kind of different. It's not like back in the day when it's Nielsen. Yeah.
And it'll grow over time, as season 1 proves. Whenever people are pointing, see, episode 2 and 3 were down, and then by the end, all of them averaging around 20 million
for the past couple of years. Game of Thrones is still one of the top streamed shows, like every week. So it doesn't matter. It's about like the long term thing. Yeah, there's a lot of people that didn't watch season 1 that will watch when season 2 comes out, and there's a lot of people that won't even watch until the whole thing's out, so they can binge the whole thing.
Yeah. Also, I think that pirating numbers would almost certainly be up, because pirating is usually linked to economics, right? Like whether or not you feel like something is worth it or whatever. And with Max increasing their prices twice, it's almost double.
They've all increased their price. Disney Plus has increased their price every year. I know that for sure.
Yeah, and that is
Disney Plus was like $5 when it came out. Now it's like 15 or 20.
Yeah,
with ads.
Yeah,
it's like such a joke.
It's rough, and right now people are trying to pinch pennies and make sure that that they have whatever they need to
Like food.
survive. So
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's like these kind of things take a back seat. So I think it might be more indicative of the platform, but also just the climate of which streaming is in right now.
Yeah.
But the good news is, Matt, is that whether or not it's 8 million or 9 million, that actually doesn't dictate whether a show is excellent. For instance, Succession is nowhere near these numbers, really, like on average. And Succession is one of the best television shows in the last 10 years. So, like, I mean, as much as we love to see the numbers, obviously, we like to see people enjoying the thing that we enjoy. It's not indicative of whether or not a show is quality. And that's what really matters.